Since the major buffs to Quick Draw in 13.7, Lucian has quietly become one of the strongest comps in TFT. If you're looking for a consistent top 4 comp, then this is the carry for you. Let's get started. In the early game, you want to play Infiniteam 3 Quick Draw 2 as fast as possible. If the Infiniteam portal is in the back row, then play Defender 2 Quick Draw 2 instead, until you can find Shen, otherwise you won't have enough frontline to survive early. If you get an early Shen, then swap out Sivir and fit all 3 traits in at the same time. At level 5, throw in any frontline you can. I usually go with Wukong so that I'm ready for Shen, but Lucian is also good to provide Heart 2. If none of these options are available, then just play any 2-star frontline that you can, regardless of synergies. For this comp, you're looking to re-roll some units, and there's a couple ways you can do this. Option 1, if you aren't contested and natural 5 to 6 Lucians, you want to hold all gold until stage 3-1. This is the last round you can be level 4. You want to roll down until you have about 10 gold left and try to hit as many Lucians and Pantheons as you can, preferably 3-starring them. If you're lucky, you might also hit Wukong, but the main focus is Lucian. So if you're low rolling, then just stick to Lucian and Pantheon only. Option 2 is when you don't find a ton of natural Lucians or Pantheons. In this scenario, you want to roll down slowly any gold over 50. This is best done at level 5, as you probably won't have 50 gold by level 4. Once you're about 1 to 2 copies away from your 3 stars, then roll down to about 10 gold and hit your 3 stars. If you're about to get level 6, then just commit all of your gold. It becomes much harder to hit a 1-cost unit at level 6 and beyond, so try not to go past there without getting your 3 stars. These are the core units for the board. Shen, Pantheon, and Lucian are your 3 Infinity. Then as the game progresses, Ezreal, Kai'Sa, and Miss Fortune are your Quick Draw units. After you hit your 3 stars at level 4 or 5, you want to go ahead and push levels. As the game progresses, just add in more Quick Draw units. Lastly, you want at least 1 Defender unit, so make sure to pick that up once Shen is on the board. In the late game, you want to round out your comp by throwing in more Defenders. You have the option to drop Ezreal for a 3rd Nika Prime unit to make Garen your main tank. This is especially useful if you get Quick Draw Heart as an augment, so you don't lose out on the damage. If the lobby is heavy AP, then swap out the extra Defenders for Aegis units instead. You should be able to fit Aegis 3 without an issue, and again with some help from Augments, you can make Leona your Mecha Prime or go for Aegis 4. Either is acceptable. From here, items, augments, and positioning will determine who takes first, so let's break that down. For damage items, it's really simple. Lucian needs blue buff. Then you pair this with any 2 AP items. Death Cap and Archangel Staff provide the most raw AP, and should be paired with Giant Slayer to shred tanks. Jeweled Gauntlet is playable in rare situations when you manage to fit in Renegade 3 for crit scaling. Gunblade and other healing items should never be played. For tank items, you want Dragon's Claw or Bramble depending on the lobby. Then round that out with Warmogs and Sunfire Cape. If you play Echo or a Mecha Prime tank, to make great use of Redemption and Stoneplate. So if you have to slam those items, then look to focus on a Mecha Prime tank. Now there's a ton of extra item value in this comp. Miss Fortune will be your 2nd carry option and should be able to get Shojin or Static Shiv when possible. Next, Chalice provides a huge damage boost and can be held by Kai'Sa or Miss Fortune. Finally, in this heavy AP meta, Shroud of Darkness can get you a ton of value, so look for opportunities to use it in the late game. Now let's talk about augments. Renegade Crest is really strong, and if you get this, you should play Renegade 3. This is a situation where you build Jeweled Gauntlet on Lucian. Next is Quick Draw Heart. You always want to take this when you can. This lets you drop Ezreal for a better unit like a Defender, Aegis, or Mecha Prime unit. Think Fast can be very powerful on 3-2, helping you secure Lucian 3, Pantheon 3, and possibly other 3 stars. Exiles provides a huge boost in frontline durability. Just make sure to position correctly. Jeweled Lotus is extremely powerful because all of your Quick Draw units use AP, allowing them to all crit. Axiom Mark is the one mega busted augment in this comp, allowing Lucian to chain spells back to back. You're basically guaranteed top 4 if you get this. Now moving into hero augments, Lucian's Enchanted Ammunition is S tier. You always want to take it and play Jeweled Gauntlet for the scaling damage. Hyperbolic Time Chamber is not playable because it forces you to level too quickly. Next, Pantheon's Chronic Hallucinations is mandatory to take when you can when Lucian's option isn't available. This provides huge early frontline and saves you either a ton of HP or allows you to win streak early. Next in the late game, Miss Fortune's Make It Rain is very powerful. This helps you to get the gold you need to push for fast levels after hitting Lucian 3. Now we have Shen's Recursion Matrix. This is really solid. It adds good frontline and makes get you an early Shen 2-star when contested. Next, Kai'Sa's reconnaissance team is pretty useful. It adds spell crit, which is good damage, but it's not excellent overall, as there are plenty other options that can do similar things. Now, in a worst case scenario, Wukong's re-energize is kind of a half decent Axiom Arc wannabe. It's not really great, so don't take it if you don't have to, but if there's nothing else, this is always an option. Now, positioning is really simple. Offensively, Lucian is always going to hit frontline first, so try to position him in front of tanks who aren't holding items so he can melt them fast. Next, it's useful to put Lucian on the same side of enemy carries. Because Lucian bursts targets so fast, it's likely he will shoot the enemy carry before they shoot him. Now defensively, there's two things you want to avoid. First, you want to avoid anti-clump spells like Urgot, Janna, and Fiddle ults. Most of these spells can be dodged by being on the opposite side of the caster, or by keeping Lucian isolated. So always try to keep your backline spread out, and remember to scout opponents before fighting. Second, the next thing to dodge is hacker dives. To do this, you want to place your carry as far away from the center as possible. Then have at least 1 or 2 bait units sit in the middle of the back row. The hacker will likely attack them first, giving Lucian the time he needs to kill his first target, then switch to the hacker and focus them down. You must be constantly scouting to make sure Lucian is on the opposite side of any hacker dives. Did this guide help? Leave a like and comment below how you do with it. It helps others find the video. Until next time, I'm Swagadelic.